honour the bride to say a few words.
Ladies and gentlemen, somebody told me once that when you get up to speak, there are three things that are important. The first one is you start well. The second one is you finish strongly. And the third one is you keep the beginning to the end as close as possible together. I'll try and be brief, and if you don't mind, there's a bet on here in this table. And I have a fairly long bet, I think, so I might just spin it out a little bit further. First of all, could I welcome you all to County Wicklow and to Clonforest. I know many of you haven't been here before, but it's a beautiful sight, as you can see, and fortunately we got a day where at least you can see Guadalupe Lake. Can I welcome also Gerald Moore, who is Robert's father, and the Moore and Rowe families, many of whom I haven't met before, but hopefully by the time the night is out I meet most of them. But everybody very welcome. I also like to pay tribute and a thank you for those who have come from abroad. If you don't mind, I look at the card in case I don't want to forget anybody. We have John and Donna McGuinness from London, and from London also John and Helen McHugh, Eamon McHugh and Sarah Meany, Oren, Orla and Baby Dylan. And we have of course the Osmond clan, who most of them I think are missing at the moment, but you'll meet them later. Then, of course, Michael is in Dubai at the moment, and he's gone back on Monday. He had to come in from Dubai. And we have Anne and Frank and Tim from Germany, and thanks, good to see them. I haven't seen them for a while. And then, of course, we have Tony and John and my two grandchildren who have come from Boston. And last but by no means least is we have Yvonne's aunt, Kathy, who has come from Toronto, from Canada. I think it's customary in a time like this to say something about the bride, my daughter. I could go on for quite a while talking about Yvonne, but I think I'll just confine with me the veteran work out well too. But instead, I think I just like to mention three words really in particular that strike me as being appropriate. One is loyalty, another is generosity, and another is bravery. And Yvonne makes friends very easily and very quickly. And one thing about her is she keeps them for the rest of her life. It's great to see today. I met people who met her in Paris many years ago, in Royal Jordanian, which are over here in front of us, when she was down in Jordan. And also where we're working right here in Dublin, in Adobe and Age Action. It's great to see you all. And even before Facebook time, Yvonne was always in touch and kept in touch. She's generous to a fault, as probably her children, her nieces and nephew know very well. And I think Vanilla, you're on a winner here because she'll never forget her new nieces as well. And Marcus, of course we have to remember Mark. But she never forgets a birthday, even mine. And she never forgets anniversaries, things like that. I do, but she doesn't. And finally, it's bravery. Yvonne was a bit of a daredevil when she was a youngster. No tree was too tall to climb. She'd even ride bareback when she was down in Leash, I remember many years ago. But I think probably the greatest thing of all is in the last few years, Yvonne had an illness of sorts. And the way she attracted us to that was just incredible. Yvonne kind of said, if you pardon the word, she said, shit happens. Yvonne, as you know, Liz and I are so proud of you. We're delighted to see you here in such good form tonight, enjoying yourself. And I think the preparation that you obviously put in, we didn't do anything, but the preparation you put into all this has been well worthwhile. And I hope everybody has enjoyed it as much as I have.
Yes.
Now let's come to Robert. Again, Liz and I have been very fortunate with our in-laws. We have Siobhan, Michael's wife, then we have John, who is Tony's husband. We have been so blessed, and now we're trebly blessed with having Robert. We couldn't be happier. Right from the word go, Robert came into the house and he was as easygoing as Yvonne is, and he was so relaxed, it was terrific to see. And as well as that, I might add that we have a new cook in the house. And he's a bit of a master chef, you know. So he has taken over the cooking, and if anybody has an occasion to go to the barbecues, don't eat for a week beforehand, because But I don't want to go on talking too much about it, except to say that you're very welcome, Robert, into the Brennan family, and the family grouping, if you like. My sister Bernie, who is a shy and retiring girl, she certainly said that I should say something about the Brennans, but I had all this prepared about the family tree, and then you told me you didn't know there were sheep stealers and rapparees in the family. So I decided I'd skip that entirely. But if I could be serious for a moment, Robert was with Yvonne when she was ill, and on behalf of Liz and myself, I couldn't thank you enough for the support, the encouragement that you gave her during that particular time. I'm sorry I don't have a strong finish. All I would do is I would ask if you would charge your glasses, please. You don't need to stand up, but you charge your glasses, and could I ask you to toast the bride and groom. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much. That was
great. Robert thinks he's going to say a few words, but Robert, just sit down for 1 second. Someone else wants to speak first and get used to it.
Unaccustomed as I am to speaking in public. I'm going to have to read it, I'm afraid. It might give you a minute to compose yourself, Rob. You needn't worry, I'll be quick. I will be. So, where do I start? Well, Rob and I met just over 4 years ago, and to say that we got off to a shaky start would be a slight understatement. As most of you know, I'm an animal lover, and at the time I had a cat and a dog. And when I asked Rob how he felt about pets, did he like animals, he said, yeah, I think they're really tasty. Anyway, we continue to see other people. the end of the summer, I thought, no, I actually really like this fella. I think we'll make a go of it. So we went away to Belfast for a weekend. And I professed to him in the Crown pub that, I really like you, I think this has a future. And he turned to me and said, well, tough shit. I'm going to Germany on Monday and I have a date on Tuesday. While he was in Germany, and we met each other when he came home, and kind of towards Christmas I think we decided that actually, yeah, this is working, and I finally was introduced to all his mates. And I remember one of them saying to me when we were out in the pub one night, Ian, who's not here tonight unfortunately, but he said, you couldn't meet a nicer fella who would do anything for anybody, put anybody ahead of himself more than Rob, and I don't think he missed a point there. I thought he was right on. So they say that a girl aspires to meet a man similar to their dad. And I think, well, my dad set the bar quite high. But I have to say, a more generous, kind, thoughtful, funny person you couldn't meet. And I think I'm lucky to have a great dad and now a great husband. I think the other bonus is a good cook. So Dad mentioned briefly that a couple of years ago we had a little hiccup and I wasn't well, and I have to say most people would have run a mile with what was ahead of us, but Rob stood by me, he catered to me, kept me hydrated, he even picked up after my dog, which isn't his most likeable thing in the world, but I have to say, he stood by me, he's still here, and I'm glad that he agreed to marry me. Now, had Rob had his own way, this wouldn't have happened today. This would have happened about 10 months ago on Las Vegas Boulevard in the Little White Chapel, performed by Elvis and lyrics by Laurel and Hardy. But I'm glad I didn't agree to it. And I'm glad that we've had today, and I have to say that all of the touches you've seen today, the flowers, the menus, the seating plans, everything is down to Rob. He chose and did everything, all of the little details. I lost interest months ago. He continued up until last night. He was decorating in here, he was tying ivy around chandeliers, whatever I did, he needed. And he was making candles, the teacup candles you see on the table were created in our microwave at home by Rob. We have our very own wedding planner here. We'll hire out at mates' rates. I'm going to finish up here, but I just want to say thank you to all of the Brennan family, extended and immediate, for welcoming Rob with open arms into the family. I certainly really appreciate it. I also just want to mention a couple of people. Sharon, our florist, who did the most amazing job. Last night as well with us tying things up and she'd her head wrecked by us, but anyway, she's still here enjoying the dinner, I hope so. And to Elma, who made the most incredible wedding cake. So I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. I thought it was beautiful. I also want to mention Brian, who looked after all of the print work very kindly for us, did a superb job. I know with Rob's help designing everything, but we really appreciate it, Brian. Thank you very much. up, but to those that aren't here today that couldn't make it, I just want to say we miss you, we wish you were here, but we'll party all night in your own.
That's going to be a hard act to follow. And just so Robert wasn't expecting that at all, he didn't know she was going to speak.
I definitely wasn't expecting what she said anyway, that's for sure. The little woman, her indoors, the good wife. If I want to have a long and happy marriage, it will not be words I'll be using to introduce my new wife. Yvonne is a confident, kind and sensible, and these are the things that I love about her. I always value her opinion, even though she thinks I never listen, and do the opposite. I would like to thank the Brendans for welcoming me into their family, and Frank for his kind words. When I asked Frank for Yvonne's hand in marriage, he said to me, she'll make up her own mind. Now that's a part that I really noticed over. And Liz, aka Lodi, she's been great about worrying about me and praying for me over the last few years. I would like to thank my parents and especially my mother, who is in our thoughts. I know that she would love to be here today at this wedding, at our wedding in her own home parish. And I would like to present Bodie with some flowers that we have for her. And I also have a family tree for my father and for Frank as well. So if you'd like to bring that over to the Bodie the family tree, it will be outside as well, so it's a Brennan and Moore family tree, and Cumberton and Brow, so hopefully you'll have a look at that later on. I also like Yvonne for her sense of humour and wit. I remember our first date, 4.5 years ago, when I was running down to the Dart in Raheny, when I got a text from Yvonne, about to leave, are you still coming? She was making sure that I hadn't chickened out on the date and I was still coming down. She replied to my text when I said, yes, I'm on my way. You know that if you don't turn up, the wedding's off. In fairness now, on a first date, that could have went either way. Well, I did laugh when I remember that text to this day. Well, the wedding's still on, and it's on today. Still tell me what to do. I would like to thank the hotel and the team. They've been outstanding. Any request, big or small, has been done without question. The staff have made us feel like we're the only couple that they organise a wedding for, but we know the hotel's been fully booked and we got the last day available this year. But to be honest, I'm quite happy with this day. The day before Halloween. Hopefully it'll be an easy day for me to remember our anniversaries in the future. We're always going overboard and thinking the day like the first day a man walked in the moon. So please get that music. Yvonne, you're the light of my life. You make me so happy. I'm so lucky to have you as my wife. I'm such an improved person since we met. Well, I know that you still think there's some work to be done on the kicking up front. Well, I think now that we're married, I can start to relax a little bit. But don't get me wrong, Yvonne, you're not the boss of me. But in life, as in business, you are my co-director. This year has been a big year for me. Middle age, a master's, and now matrimony. But I am delighted to have Yvonne by my side and to have all my friends around me to help celebrate these milestones. We would like to thank all our friends and family for being here and travelling. But I believe the bros had it easy on the travelling front. There's some bros. I would like to thank all our guests and those who couldn't be here for all their kind wishes and generous presence. I would also like to thank our friends and family for all their help. Elma for the cake, Sharon for the food, and Brian for the printing, as mentioned just a few. Thanks for correct me again. A special thanks to the bridesmaids for helping Yvonne with the wedding. And I also would like to thank the best man and the grooms for their kind words about me. but they're all known for not letting the facts get in the way of a good story. Oh, by the way, you look beautiful as well. And finally, I'd like to finish off, and I'd like to thank my Yvonne, my smart, sassy, and sexy bride for marrying me.
Next to say a few words, another Michael, just to keep the names easy to remember.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends, before I start, my homage to a very dear friend of mine. I've got a few messages from people who can't be here with us today. Just to clarify that, these are not messages from beyond the grave. From people who couldn't travel to the event today. So congratulations, Yvonne and Rob, on your special day. Best wishes for my eldest and dearest friend on her special day. Wishing you both a beautiful, happy and long life together, filled with love and laughter. I shall be thinking of you both down under. Lots of love, Siobhan, Tennessee, Melbourne, Australia. Interpret that one as you will. The next card is from John and Anne Robinson, recently retired from 15 to 1, who declined with regret. Sorry, we won't be able to come, Yvonne. Neither of us is well enough. Have a lovely day, and we'll be looking forward to seeing the video. Love, Anne. I don't want to break the news to Anne that the videographer didn't turn up today. We'll leave that to Michael. And finally, from Mary, Paul, Karen, and it looks like, is it Giles or Jill or Gills or? Does anyone know these people? Is this a card that snuck in? To Yvonne and Robert, with lots of love to you, both on your wonderful day. Sorry I can't be with you, but old age, there, it's a tale. Thanks very much for your invite, especially asking a guest as well. That was very good. Hope to see you both soon. Please come. Isn't that beautiful? Rob. I first met Rob, Wicklow's answer to the milk tray man, just coming on 20 years ago in a nightclub in Dublin. A friend of ours used to run a club, Francois, he's over there. I met Rob that night. And he was standing on the side of the dance floor, wearing his what became a traditional uniform for Friday night, a black shirt and black jeans, with a big happy head on him, with the type of face on him that a 3-year-old child would draw in an inflated balloon, and a smile that would crack windows. And I turned to him, and we immediately started talking to each other, and we immediately got on. We hit it off. He was introduced to me as Bob. Got a lot of feedback here. He was introduced to me as Bob from Wicklow. But one of his many aliases, Robert to his family, old and new. Rob to his friends from Australia and London. And for many of us in Dublin, just plain old Bob for a few years. But whatever his name, whatever his alias, and behind that name, and behind, thankfully, that corrected smile, there's an incredible gentleman and a very, very, very beautiful human being. I will use many of his names interchangeably over the next 5 minutes, so indulge me. Because Bob actually cares very deeply about lots and lots of the people who are sitting in this room. Even some of the Brennans. He's an incredible friend. He's a really loyal person. I can't recall one angry word that's passed his lips in the last 20 years. I can't recall it. Unless you get in front of him when he's trying to eat a packet of chocolate hobnobs and he's watching some documentary on the telly about spider monkeys or how Al-Qaeda have infiltrated the Irish waterboard or something equally ridiculous. Because he is a contradiction. He's a man of contradiction. You've heard everyone refer to how great a cook he is tonight. A cook who can use every single utensil in the kitchen, even if he's just trying to boil an egg. And if you eat that egg, by God, you better love garlic. Because he puts garlic in everything. And there were so many times when we lived together in Australia, and I would ask him, Bob, why have you put garlic into a spaghetti bolognese? And he would just look at me and say, because it weren't there. He loves music. As long as it's more than 180 beats per minute. He wouldn't know one end of the guitar from the other end of the guitar. He would sit in front of a piano for hours staring at it, waiting for it to play itself. And don't ever ask him to go out and watch a match with you. Because Gaelic football, soccer, rugby, it's kickball to Rob. Tennis, golf, hurling, it's all stickball. He just doesn't really get it. But despite this singular lack of any love for any sporting or team sporting events, this lad over here is a very, very unlikely athlete. I have travelled the length and breadth of Australia with this guy, and I assure you, ladies, I have seen more than my fair share of his naked torso over the years. And many times I've awoken in hostels in the early hours of the morning to the sound of what can only be referred to as pig-like snoring, to witness Robert in his nude and morning glory and all his young splendour. It is quite a compelling pain, and a difficult image to shake. He has run marathons after his brother's stag party. He has cycled tens of thousands of kilometres all over the world. He has climbed the mountains of Wicklow. He has done this with an unnatural level, a mind-boggling level of natural fitness that has been honed from years upon years of running away from commitment. When he committed himself to his beautiful bride Yvonne. And I speak for everyone in this room when I say to both of you that we wish you all of the happiness and health in your life, that we are incredibly happy that both of you found each other. And I speak for Gerald when I say to look after him now. And we can all get on with the rest of our lives. Because I think it's not only Gerald that's given away a son today. All of us have given away a son today. And God is always there. And as we get older, life really gets in the way of friendship. And I think, many of us in this room, me, myself included, have been guilty of not keeping in touch with our friends, or not spending enough time or making enough effort to spend time with the people that we love and to keep our friendships going, right? But not Bob. Bob has always been there. You can never, ever say a bad word about Bob's ability to stay in touch with his friends. And I'll never forget when my wife and I moved down to Australia, and Bob was on one of his employment sabbaticals, of which there were many. Just the way that he helped her settle into Sydney. They brought her around the city. He had to register with recruitment agencies, helped her get her tax file number, her national insurance number, helped her get a job. He just looked after her when I was at work. There was no question asked, no fuss, no problem, no favours requested. Because that's the essence of Bob. He's just an absolute gentleman. He's caring, he's empathetic, he's reliable. Unless you're trying to get him to his 40th birthday party. The less you say about that, the better. And as I flew back from Paris this week, I was in Paris on business, and as I flew back and I thought about what I was going to say tonight to most of you people, many of you whom I don't know. And I thought back over the last 20 years, and I genuinely can't think about one bad memory. Like, they're all good memories. They're all warm feelings. They're all laughs. Like, that's what my friendship with Robert has been like over the last 20 years. Laughs that we had at beach parties in Byron Bay, in Queensland and Australia, which I can't talk about. When I arrived back into Sydney after spending 4 weeks in South Australia and found Rob had lost about 3 stone in body weight and was 10 stone, because he'd been living on a packet of crackers a day waiting for his first paycheck to come in with his new security job. How we laughed. And I did what any good friend would have done in that situation. I bought him a packet of Easy Sing. And even more recently, at a stag, only a few weeks ago, when I stood for 15 minutes at 3 o'clock in the warm morning watching him forage for his black jacket in the late night bar, even though he didn't have a jacket and he was wearing a purple hoodie. Such happy, happy memories. So despite his frustratingly bad use of grammar from time to time, Bob, I'm very proud to stand here, and I'm very proud to represent you and Yvonne here today. And I'm very proud to be your friend. And I'm very, very proud to wish you all the best again. Thank you.
Great speeches. Very hard to follow. Crap. Well, to introduce myself, I'm Robert's brother, Michael. So there's no need for me to go into a deep explanation of how we know each other. We've known each other all our lives. We grew up together. I suppose as growing up, we were very, very close. We shared a room. We were at the same school. We were close in age. We had a lot of common friends. I suppose in a way we were a little bit like Ant and Dec off the TV. Well, everybody knew our names, but no one was too sure which was which. But we got around to it. But I suppose growing up on the farm, one thing we used to always work together, come the evenings and the weekends, and there was always jobs to be done. One thing about a farm, there's two things: machinery and animals. So we started with machinery, namely driving. Not Robert's thing. From a very early age, Robert never just grasped the whole driving. We used to have this thing, if Robert was out in a tractor in a 10-acre field and there was one tree in the middle, a fair chance Robert would crash into it. Well, I do have to say, for road safety reasons, he has improved, but Yvonne does do a lot of driving as well, so that's better. But the other thing on the farm, I suppose, was Robert's kind nature. He was patient and he was kind. And I know you say he's not an animal lover, he really is. He was the one who used to always do the little jobs that nobody else wanted. He was the one who would always look after the dogs. He would look after the orphan lambs and go that extra mile. I even remember the chickens used to follow him around because he was the only one that fed them. So no, he was very kind, and he was very, I suppose, very gentle, and he took it all to heart when it comes to caring for other animals, which is always a great sign. So I love the fact that Yvonne is an animal lover as well, because it makes such a great pair. There was a slight unfortunate incident now with the fox getting into the chicken coop, and there was a lot of tears over that, so we won't go down that road either. He did recover, but as Michael was saying, he's not always that he was just a soft-hearted person as well. He was tough when it came to, namely his running and his sport. It kind of dipped in and out of it a good bit, but when he gets into it, he went mad into it. So I'm going to tell a story, I suppose, of a couple of weeks ago, well, it must be a couple of months ago now, when Robert were having a pint, and he said, "No, what we'll do before the wedding, we'll run a marathon." I thought, Jesus, that's a great idea. Why wouldn't we? You've done it loads of times, how hard can it be? So we're doing a bit of training. I tried my clothes on, that was my training. We finished the week before. So we said, before we run a marathon, we'll run a half marathon. Get ourselves, a little bit of go. That was about 2 months before the main marathon. So Robert said, "Look, yeah, we'll get ready, we'll run this half marathon, I'll book you in, it'll be great crack." It wasn't great crack. We turned up on the morning. I do have to say, Robert, thanks very much for telling me what to do with the Vaseline. They don't normally tell that in polite society, but I made all the difference. So we started into this half marathon in Phoenix Park on a lovely day, and Robert tears ahead. And I'm halfway through thinking, I think I'm going to die, this is going to kill me. But at the same time, I had loads of time to think, because I was panicking and puffing and panting and wondering where the ambulance was. And I remember the time then that on my stag, we went down to Carrigan-Fergus, and on a Friday night we all went out for a few pints, good old session. Robert had said he's going to run a marathon the next day. And I thought, yeah, fair play to you, more about it. And he was out till 12 o'clock, and we're all having a good night, and he just decides then that evening, or about 12 o'clock, I'm getting a glass of water and going home. Next day then, while we were out for the breakfast and the cure, Robert's off running the marathon. So that's why I thought it was easy. God, it wasn't easy. And then to have the injury to insult, at the end of the half marathon I was running, I got a message on my phone saying, Michael, if you're still running, I'll come back and keep you company after all this. But I suppose the other thing that I'd say was a story that just at the rehearsals with Father Jim there on Wednesday, and I wasn't going to tell this story until Yvonne gave me the go-ahead, so then I said, right. We had the rehearsal dinner on Wednesday, and we, after the rehearsals, went up to the local church. Father Jim got everybody organised, and the first thing he wanted to do was organise the procession up to church. So we got all the girls down the back, myself and Robert up the front, and while we were standing at the front of the church, looking up, Robert's looking very steely-eyed, and I'm thinking, oh, this is it now. He's getting into the zone. It's finally coming in. He's in deep thought. And he turns over to me and he says, I'm having second thoughts. God, this is not the thing you want to be hearing. So I'm thinking, just don't panic now. You know, he's probably just under a bit of pressure. If he's having second thoughts, don't say anything. It's probably just pre-wedding jitters, and I'll say something very calming and very relaxing. So while all this is going through my head, it seemed like a minute, but it was probably only a couple of seconds. Then Robert finishes the sentence. I don't think I'll go with the suede or with the brown shoes and belt. I think I'll go with the black one. I thought you after I should have killed him. I had to explain, Robert, that was not the kind of start with that sentence. But at least Yvonne's on the funny side of it as well. But look, I'm going to finish up, not because I'm worried about time, and I found out that you actually can't bet on the top table on your own time, so simply there's laws against it. But just to finish up, I'm going to read a small quote, and I suppose in a way that's going to break two of my own rules, never to read something from the internet, especially at a wedding speech. But I'm going to read this quote from Mother Teresa, someone who's also very, very kind and very willing. I'm not saying I'm comparing you to Mother Teresa now, but it's words that I think you could possibly live by, but I thought it was a nice quote. People are often unreasonable, irrational, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you succeed, you will win some unfaithful friends and some genuine enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyway. If you spend years creating, others could destroy overnight. Create anyway. If you find sincerity and happiness, some people may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today will often be forgotten. Do good anyway. Give the best you have. It will never be enough. Give your best anyway. In the final analysis, it's between you and God. It's never between you and them anyway. I was just going to say, so my very last piece of advice to Robert is if you follow those words and just replace the word God with the word Yvonne, you'll be fine. And then someone just wants to say a word before we have the final toast. So, okay, no.
I'll be very brief. Sorry, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Joan again. Yvonne and I met in Paris many years ago. Yvonne has lived in many different countries, and I have stayed in Dublin, but as we all know, geography doesn't get in the way of true friendship, and ours was no exception. When Yvonne told me she had met someone called Rob from Wicklow, I hoped that he would be kind and gentle and worthy of the love of someone as special as Yvonne. All my hopes have been confirmed. I often feel apprehensive at weddings, my own included, at the enormity of the task at hand. To promise to love someone for the rest of your life, it is a huge commitment and not to be lightly entered. But it's my belief today, Rob, if Yvonne has promised to love you for the rest of her life, I believe that is exactly what she will do. Thank you.
Thank you for all of your words. surprise speakers. We're going to finish up by doing a final toast to the bride and groom, to Robert and Yvonne. Cheers to all the merry men.